want to grab one of your lower side panels and put it right side up, and grab one of your upper side panels and put it right side down, and the angled edge is down here. That's going to be the waistband, so keep that in mind. That will be helpful. And you're going to sew across this edge using a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and then you're going to take the upper side panel and pull it up and away so both pieces are right side up, and you're going to give it a good press and press your seam allowances toward the upper side panel, toward the angled edge. That's going to be the waistband, and then edge stitch on the upper side panel side about an 1/8 inch away, and then we're going to turn it so the angled edge is at the top and everything's still spread out right side up. And then everything you just sewed, you're going to grab it and pinch it and bring it up to the first set of notches. You have a set of notches here at the angled edge, but not those. The next set of notches down. Line that up, pin or clip. Do the same thing to the other side. Find the notch, line up that folded edge, pin or clip, and then notice this is going to be floppy like this. It's supposed to. That's going to be your pocket, so just make sure you line up the edges. And then you've got some notches here at the bottom of your pocket. Make sure those are lined up, and then find the other notch on the lower side panel and line up all those notches, pin or clip. And you're going to have 3 layers here, so make sure all those stay even across the top, and pin or clip those. Do the same thing to the other side. Keep everything lined up nicely and pin or clip, and remember that's supposed to be loose like that. And then baste both sides, basting that pocket down, and then repeat those same steps to your other upper side panel and lower side panel. I'm going to go rogue a few times in this pattern. From what the instructions say to do, they want you to wait until after you've sewn most of the seams and then finish them with a serge or zigzag, your preferred method. But for me, it's easier and faster and looks neater if I do it when the pieces are separate before they're sewn together. So that's what I did, and I guess we'll find out in a few minutes if that was a good idea or not. I have serged my waistband also because I'm not going to be doing a double fold. That's too fiddly for me, and I can't be bothered, and I think a serged edge is just fine for a waistband that's going to have elastic in it. And I also serged the bottom edge of mine because I'm not going to be hemming it. I'm going to be adding a hem band, and I have a tutorial for how to do that already on my channel. So if you're not going to be doing a hem band, you don't need to finish your bottom edges. But if you want to go ahead and finish your edges now, go ahead. And after you do that, you're going to have your center front piece right side up, and then find one of the corresponding pieces, side pieces that has the pocket, and put it right sides together and match up your notches, pin or clip all the way down, and sew with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and then get your other piece with your pocket and put it right sides together on the other side of your front skirt piece, and pin or clip, match up your notches, and sew that using a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I also pressed my seam allowances open instead of to the side like the pattern suggests. I just prefer that look, but when you get to that step, do the way you prefer. And I have my hem band sewn on and top stitched, and here's an option for you if you'd like to do this. I just find it easier once the skirt is sewn all together in a circle. When you go to fold the waistband down, I find this easier to do this step ahead of time. I went ahead and folded mine down 1 3/4 inches and gave it a press. and that'll just give us a good crease when it's time to fold that down and insert the elastic. If you're doing the double fold, you can still press it. You would just need to do it twice and just follow the measurements and instructions in the pattern for doing the double fold. And then once you have all that done, you're going to take your back skirt piece and put it right sides together and match up your notches and sew that using a 3/8 seam allowance, and then do the same to the last unsewn side. Match up your right sides and notches and sew a 3/8 seam allowance. If you did do the pressing step, just make sure you have it unfolded when you sew it. I pressed my seam allowances open, but the pattern suggests doing it another way, so if you don't want to press them open, just check the pattern for the direction they need to go. And then after you do that, fold your waistband to the wrong side of your skirt, and see how much easier that was since you already made a crease. And then starting at the back of your skirt, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're going to sew the waistband down to the skirt, but you want, and be sure to back stitch at the beginning and end. It's very important because we're going to be inserting elastic, and you want to leave about a 2.5 inch opening for the elastic to go through. And once you've done that, you should have your elastic cut to whatever size you're making, and grab a bodkin or a safety pin, your preferred method, for threading elastic, and start threading it through the waistband casing. And thread it all the way through. Once you have your elastic threaded through, overlap it by 1 inch. And then sew it together using a square. Once you've sewn your elastic together, just pull on your waistband and get everything as even as you can. Make sure your elastic isn't twisted. And then now's a good time to try your skirt on and see if the elastic needs to be adjusted any for either shorter or longer. And then once you're happy with the length of the elastic, your opening here, you want to pull it so it would be flat, and then stitch your opening closed. And if you didn't add the hem band, now's the time to hem your skirt, and you are all finished.